What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Nicholas Falato of the Big Blue Banter podcast here to break down two specific plays where the Giants were able to generate explosive opportunities. This is something that the Giants significantly struggled with during the 2020 campaign, so let's break down these two plays right now. This is the 33-yard touchdown pass to Darius Slayton. At this time, before the snap, the Washington football team led the Giants 14-13. This was a 2nd and 10 play that came right after the RPO that Kenny Golladay could not haul in. There's about 4:40 left in the third quarter. The Giants are on the Washington 33. And as you can see, we have man coverage across the board. Cover one, manned up, manned up, manned up out of the slot, a little bit off, manned up, and then a single high safety. Now, we've seen Daniel Jones have a proclivity to attack deep in these looks when he can manipulate this center field safety with his eyes. And if the pre to post snap diagnosis goes well for Daniel Jones, which it does here, then he usually puts a really nice deep ball out there for his receivers to make a play on it. Specifically, if that receiver can win off the line of scrimmage outside and possibly stack a bit on the cornerback. So let's watch this play and break it down. It's a beautiful pass by Daniel Jones. Great job by Darius Slayton getting his feet in bounds here. And you can see the man coverage right off. You see them engage the receivers. And watch this blade release right here by Darius Slayton. It's very nice. Releases outside, dips that inside shoulder, showing that shoulder blade, gets on top, gets leverage. You can see that he won. You can see that he has a step. And Daniel Jones puts that ball out there, and it's caught. This is a simple pitch and catch. What Daniel Jones thought he saw pre-snap was confirmed post-snap. Now I want you to watch his eyes here, and you'll see it on the end zone copy, how he holds that safety. Watch that safety and how he reacts to Daniel Jones' eyes. Jones gets the ball. Jones is looking to his right. That safety cheats in that direction, and he knows he's going to have that one-on-one matchup. Puts a beautiful pass up there. Good eye manipulation by Daniel Jones there. We'll see it right here as well. He's making his checks, his calls, confirming everything. Gets a snap, eyes. First go to the right. That safety starts to cheat. Hits that back foot, snaps his head, snaps his hips, and snaps his shoulders, squares his feet, gets his hips oriented, throws the ball despite the fact that there was pressure in his face, and a beautiful catch by Darius Slayton. One more time. Ben Bredesen need a better anchor here because he gets bullied right back, but Jones gets the ball off anyways for the touchdown. Impressive post-snap confirmation from Daniel Jones and a really nice throw as well with the pressure bearing down in his face. And good job on Darius Slayton. But on this play, not as good when it comes to Darius Slayton because this is the dropped pass, the would-be touchdown, the game-winning catch, whatever you want to deem it as. This is a play design that Dan and myself have talked about extensively on the Big Blue Banter podcast, which is a Mills concept against a cover 6 defense. And that's important because Mills, as much as the Mills concept has been called against single high, middle of the field closed defenses to put the deep safety in conflict, it's much more of a middle of the field open type of concept where you're looking to put this safety right here into conflict. That is the goal. And the goal of putting this safety into conflict is to run this post route from Darius Slayton behind this safety who's going to be forced to drop down on the slot's deep dig route because this safety is told by many cover 4 and cover 6 type of defenses are told this safety has routes that are past 10 yards, and if you watch this route from this receiver, he goes past 10 yards. Let's run the play and then we'll talk about the coverage and what happened. Devastating. Absolutely devastating. But you'll see here, defense is in a cover 6. So a cover 6, also known as quarter, half. Pre-snap, this cornerback right here, his butt's towards the sideline. You can't really see it as well, but his butt's towards the sideline, symbolizing zone. He's going to take another quarter. You're going to have a quarter to the deep, and then this safety over here is going to have half the field to the field side. And now on the other side of cover 6, because this is a cover 4 side, is cover 2. And you can see Benjamin St. Juste right here execute cover 2. He jams, he sinks, and then he snaps his eyes over to this number 2 receiver right here. Now, what's going on down here is if Daniel Jones felt inclined to target the number 2 receiver, Sterling Shepard, here, Shepard does not get an easy release inside because Fuller, right here, the slot defender, is walling him off and not allowing him inside. You can see how he steps outside like that, forcing and influencing Shepard to go outside. Now, these two covering defenders work in conjunction with each other because Benjamin St-Juste is going to force this receiver, Kenny Golladay, outside of the divider line because, again, Daniel Jones is all the way on that far hash. It's going to be a tough throw to get it over the top, but it's very capable. But as he does so, he sinks, and then he snaps his eyes over to the number 2. And he's snapping the eyes over to the number 2 to see if Daniel Jones is going to execute a throw here. He's going to try to execute his own trap coverage underneath it. So you can see how it comes off there. And if Daniel Jones wanted to throw the football over here, he would have probably threw a pick 6 to Benjamin St-Juste. You can see how Benjamin St-Juste comes off of Kenny Golladay in the cover 2 technique that he's executing right there in the flat, and he would have intercepted this pass if Daniel Jones threw that. But Daniel Jones wasn't looking that direction. He loved the conflict that was being created right here on this safety. Now you could see the route concept going on, the mills, deep post, and then the dig, and see the depth of that dig route. Past 10 yards, and that's the assignment of this safety to cover routes past 10 yards from the number 2 receiver. But in doing that, that opens up significant space to the inside since this cornerback, who has a deep 4th responsibility, is playing outside leverage on Darius Slayton. So the help is not there. This is great route concept, great execution of the routes against the coverage that makes these routes more potent and more successful. So good job on Jason Garrett, good job on Daniel Jones to recognize it. The ball could have been a little bit better right here. It's a drop. You should catch it, Darius Slayton. There's no doubt about that. But it wasn't a perfect pass, and I think those two things can coexist with each other. But that's how this ended up materializing, because the Giants are not a team, as we've said so many times on the podcast, that generate explosive opportunities. And this is a very explosive opportunity. Good play call, good read. The execution was off. And that happens in football. It's maddening because Darius Slayton was wide opening. But these kind of mistakes happen, and teams that aren't necessarily great at football make mistakes. And those mistakes usually end up burning them. And that's what happened here. Giants are not a perfect team. They can put themselves into position to win the game, but then their execution may not be perfect, just like we saw there. So it's frustrating. We hope that the New York Giants figure this out right now. And it's definitely encouraging that they were able to generate these explosive plays, or at least these explosive play opportunities. It's only week 2 right now, so we hope to see more route concepts like this, more protection that may allow this, even though the protection wasn't perfect on that play that you just witnessed. The receivers winning at the line of scrimmage like Slayton did there. The pre to post snap diagnosis and how Daniel Jones seems to be doing a better job with that early in the season. All those things are reasons to have some optimism, even though this loss was devastating on the road against a team that was basically asking you to win the football game. The Giants couldn't find a way to put it away. And bad teams lose those types of games. But here are 2 explosive opportunities that we didn't see enough of in 2020. So if we have to take anything positive away from that just horrid experience, it's that the Giants were able to do some different things on offense. So this is Nick Falato, the Big Blue Banter podcast, signing off. We'll be coming with more videos on the YouTube page. Please check us out on iTunes. Check us out on Instagram. That's NY Big Blue Banter. And also, just have a lovely day, everybody. Take care.